It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. On this, the 8th day of October 2025, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. Today's show, of course, is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Shutdown, and by chilliescruises. A fairly busy day here yesterday and today. I think I'm going to go pick up my car this afternoon, which is nice. I probably could have gotten it late yesterday afternoon, but I had sister duties for the afternoon. And then by the time it got around to fucking 5 o'clock traffic, I probably couldn't have got there before it closed. So I'm going to go probably right after the show today to pick up my car, which is, considerably earlier than the original estimate. So I appreciate the fact that they got it done, and I'm going to get it back considerably early so I'll have my rack and be able to use my chair again. So anyway, that's happening later on today. In the meantime, folks, we got a bunch of news stories today. The lead story, and it was kind of difficult for me to pick out a lead story, but the main story this morning is an early look at Legends of the Seas, from Royal Caribbean. Also today, we're going to get another first look at the new Beachcomber ship. Typhoon delays Ovation for 2 days. Port Canaveral is raising parking fees. A bride-to-be banned. Wait till you hear why. AIDA to build 7 schools. Victoria Cruise Line customers still waiting for refunds. Star of the Seas itinerary change. And major flight delays from the shutdown. And lots more here live at 11 o'clock today on the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. Today is National Pierogi Day. Pierogies are, at first I wasn't real excited about them, but Amanda likes them, and so Amanda fixes them on a fairly regular basis. And I've gotten to the point where I rather enjoy them too, so I kind of like the pierogies. This day in history, and I debated on what I was going to say about this, but in 2001, President George W. Bush announced the creation of the Office of Homeland Security in response to the attacks on 9/11. I don't mind being honest with you, folks. At first, I was not particularly a fan of George W. Bush. I did not vote for him. His first run for president there. After 9/11 and what President Bush did in restoring the dignity and hope to the country, I feel that he completely personified what a leader should be. And I became quite a fan of his after that. Probably more so than I was of his dad, who I liked initially. And oddly enough, in that clan of folks, Cheney, Vice President Cheney, was the one I liked the least. And his daughter, I probably liked the most. So yeah, I have, when I tell you folks that, I'm when I say I'm PO'd at Washington, I'm PO'd at everybody, both sides. Just as equally, I can be in favor of people on both sides. But anyway, just thought I'd stick in that little anecdote about my thinking about Bush and how it changed. All right, if you're listening via the podcast, you're, of course, always welcome here. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat guy. So I've had a couple questions on health issues recently. One, the breathing treatments and so forth. And why am I still using Nestor? Well, it's because of the breathing treatments and so forth that I'm still doing that. So it takes some pressure off my breathing and voice when I'm doing the show. I still have a tendency to cough up crap. Just not a good look. Just like my oxygen's not a good look when I'm live. So I try to avoid that as well. The other thing is my eyesight. I'm taking medication now for it. I'm starting to witness and feel some deterioration in the eyesight. Some watering of the eyes. I've got a special solution to clean my eyes. And of course, I take the big red pill. So, who knows? I've got some time until they want to look at it again and see what actions we're going to have to take. But we'll see what happens. So, all right. So we got a bunch of stories this morning, and we're going to first talk about the weather. Of course, can't get by without that yet. But before we do that, so I don't screw up and lose the spot, we'll take a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. And that's about 7 minutes in if I can't find it on the tape. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the weather first. Might as well start with the Atlantic. The Atlantic is a little funky right now. Over the weekend, Jerry formed. Jerry's approaching the Leeward Islands now. It's a tropical storm. Currently carrying 50-mile-an-hour winds. Pressure's dropped to 1,003. It's moving west-northwest at 20 miles or 23 miles an hour. So it's moving like a scalded dog. It's going to start bringing a lot of rain and winds to the Leeward Islands and some of the islands. However, before it gets over here where it's really going to affect us in the States, it's going to bend off to the north. Probably well before it's even going to be aimed at Bermuda. Probably will be a hurricane today or tonight. Probably not going to get much stronger than a 1. Possibly a low 2. Now, the little yellow X over here in the Bay of Campeche is a trough of low pressure producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunder showers. Some slow development of the system is possible before it moves inland over southern Mexico today or early tomorrow. Regardless of the development, areas of heavy rain and gusty winds are likely across portions of southern New Mexico for the next day or two. 10% chance both in the next 48 hours and in the next 7 days of further development. All right, so in the Pacific, we still have Octave, which is out there floating around. And Octave is still a tropical storm and is starting to weaken. Currently, it's at 40 miles an hour. Pressure has risen to 1,003. It's speeding up a little bit, moving east at 12. Priscilla is a hurricane. Currently, it's at 100 mile an hour. Pressure has dropped all the way down to 968. It's moving northwest at 8. This is going to wreak havoc with the in Baja California, Cabo San Lucas. Tropical storm conditions are possible along the Baja California Pacific coastline. The tropical storm watch area today. Interests elsewhere in Baja California Peninsula should monitor the progress of Priscilla. Moisture associated with Priscilla will lead to heavy rainfall and a flash flood risk across portions of the southwestern United States from late this week into the weekend. Swells generated by Priscilla are affecting portions of the coast of southwestern and west central Mexico, as well as the coast of the southern Baja California Peninsula. These swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions, in addition to coastal flooding. And the best sense that I have of this, it's just going to parallel Baja California until it gets into cooler waters and starts weakening. So that's what's coming ahead in the weather world. All right. We'll be mentioning that a little more later in the broadcast. So let's get started with the next news story after the weather, and that comes from Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean has announced exciting new family-friendly sailings aboard the upcoming Legend of the Seas, launching in July 2026. The cruise line promises a mix of innovative dining, world-class entertainment, and over-the-top onboard experiences. With Legend of the Seas, we're delivering our most legendary vacation yet, said Royal Caribbean President and CEO Michael Bailey. We're taking everything guests love and pushing it even further. Fork and knife with plate dining highlights. Guests can look forward to 28 dining venues, including Royal Railway, Legend Station, a train-themed culinary journey along Marco Polo's Silk Road, served as a 5-course experience. Hollywoodland Supper Club, a glamorous new supper club channeling vintage Hollywood with jazz, cocktails, and gourmet fare. Aquadome Market, a next-gen food hall with 5 new global food stands. Family favorites, Chops Grill, Izumi, Hooked Seafood, Surfside Eatery, and more. Face mask entertainment and nightlife. Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory musical at sea. Aqua theater shows with high divers, aerialists, and robotics. Absolute Zero Ice Arena, 20-plus bars, lounges, and live music venues. Cyclone thrills and amenities. 6 water slides at Category 6. Crown's Edge, Lost Dunes mini golf, and Adrenaline Peak rock climbing. 7 pools and an all-new playscape for kids. Signature spaces like Royal Promenade, Central Park, Pearl, and the ultimate family townhouse Globe where she's headed. Summer 2026 to 7-night Mediterranean cruises from Barcelona and Rome, Civitavecchia, with stops in Marseille, Naples, and Palma de Mallorca. Winter 2026. Caribbean debut from Fort Lauderdale, with 6 and 8 night itineraries visiting Aruba, Curacao, and Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Bookings for the July 2026 sailings are now open on Royal Caribbean's website or email chillie@bookalaska.net. Margaritaville at Sea has revealed a first look at the new Margaritaville Beachcomber, including the world's largest 5 o'clock somewhere space with a mix of vibrant venues to enjoy. Located on the aft of the ship, the poolside space will span across 4 decks and include both dining and bars as well as entertainment and lounge space. Margaritaville Beachcomber will debut in January 2027 from Port Miami, offering a mix of 6 and 8 night Caribbean itineraries to world-famous beaches. Typhoon Halong is delaying Ovation of the Seas by 2 days as the ship heads for Tokyo, Japan. The current sailing is extended while the next cruise will be shortened to stay safely away from the storm. Guests on both sailings will receive compensation and assistance to adjust their travel plans. As astronomical wonders continue to capture global attention, Holland America Line announces the addition of astronomy experts to its 3 2026 solar eclipse cruises. A total solar eclipse will be visible on August 12, 2026, and guests aboard Nieuw Statendam, Oosterdam and Zuiderdam will have exclusive access to lectures, presentations and tips on how to make the most of their eclipse viewing. Boston University professor Mears Oppenheim will be aboard Zuiderdam's 18-day Voyage of the Vikings solar eclipse cruise. University of California San Diego professor Adam Burgasser will join guests on Oosterdam for the 13-day Mediterranean solar eclipse cruise, and Tom Vassos, former professor at University of Toronto, will be aboard Nieuw Statendam's 28-day legendary solar eclipse with Greenland and Scotland cruise. For pricing and booking any of the 3, email chillie@bookalaska.net. Port Canaveral has quietly raised the prices for on-site parking from $17 to $20 per day, which is the first increase since 2017. The purpose of the price increase is to generate additional revenue to maintain port infrastructure and support expansion projects to accommodate record-breaking cruise tourism rates. The change went into effect on October 1, 2025. A bride's bachelorette party turned sour after she was caught smuggling alcohol on board during her carnival sailing. She posted a TikTok about her bad behavior during the voyage, leading onboard security to confront her, although this would still be a punishable offense even if it had been caught after disembarkation. By the time the TikToker returned home, she had received a lifetime ban from the cruise line.
All right, there's a couple things to point out about that one, folks. Didn't anybody ever tell that girl that there's bars and stuff on these cruise lines? That you don't need to smuggle booze on board? But the curious thing about it is she smuggled the booze on in a tampon flask. I'm not entirely sure what that is. However, I think I don't want to know what that is. But that's how she got the booze on board. Some people are just dumb, y'all.
During this year's fundraising gala for the Rainer Much Foundation Fly and Help, AIDA President Felix Eichhorn handed over a check to the foundation's founder. The funds will enable construction to begin on AIDA Cruise and help schools 84 through 90, located in Ivory Coast, India, Kenya, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Togo. Today we're taking a big step forward. Our check, worth €500,000, will enable the next 7 school projects and thus provide concrete educational opportunities for the future of many children, Eichhorn remarked at the ceremony.
Please beware, folks, that Allianz has implemented a change to their cancellation policy effective March 28, 2024. The Key changes in the policies are residents from Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Montana, South Carolina, and Indiana no longer have the option to cancel any time before departure. All states except New York are now subject to a 15-day cancellation window. Only New York residents can still cancel anytime. If you're interested in Allianz travel insurance or the brilliant annual policies from Allianz, give me a call, 434-258-9264. We'll take care of your travel insurance before your next trip.
When Virgin Voyages' brilliant lady sets sail from Miami on her one-time-only maiden voyage, all eyes and ears will be on Khalees. The Grammy-nominated singer and culinary artist will headline the sailing with a special live performance under the Caribbean stars, turning the ship's pool deck into a high-energy concert venue. Famous for chart-topping hits like Milkshake and Bossy, Khalees brings more than just music to the journey. A professionally trained chef from Le Cordon Bleu, she's also premiering a new dessert, the Khalees Sundae, at the ship's signature restaurant, The Wake. To try her dessert, email chillie@bookalaska.net. A BBC investigation has revealed that dozens of would-be passengers who paid deposits for a 3-year residential cruise with Victoria Cruises Line are still waiting for refunds, despite the ship never setting sail since bookings began in 2022. Marketed as a global voyage visiting 115 countries at around $3,840 per month, the cruise attracted customers with promises of a life at sea. Deposits reportedly ranged from $10,000 to $15,000. Some passengers made major life changes in anticipation of departure, selling homes, rehoming pets, and quitting jobs. Among them were Dennis and Taryn Awan, a couple from Perth, Australia, who paid a $10,000 deposit in May 2022 after conducting what they thought was thorough research. But the cruise has been delayed multiple times, most recently in July 2025, with Victoria citing insufficient bookings, claiming it needs to hit 80% occupancy to charter the ship. The BBC investigation found that Victoria does not currently own or lease the vessel it advertised, the former Holland America Veendam, now named Majestic. The current owner reportedly denied any association with Victoria Cruise Line. In a response to the BBC, Victoria Cruises Line denied any fraud or misconduct. The company claims all 38 formal complaints have been reviewed and that none qualify for refunds under their contract terms. Victoria explained that securing a ship lease prematurely would cost approximately $1 million per month, which they called an unjustified risk without sufficient bookings. They say 100 more reservations are needed before confirming a departure. The company also said that refund delays stem from various issues including legal disputes, anti-money laundering checks, missing customer banking details, and other admin obstacles. They maintain that deposits are held in a segregated account, and that all customers were made aware departure was contingent on minimum occupancy. According to the BBC, authorities in Utah found that Victoria had not booked a departure port, and that some individuals shown as crew on the company's website had not received job offers. The cruise line responded by stating the crew shown are real people, employed with passports and signed contracts. The company has threatened legal action against customers who raise complaints on social media, arguing disputes should be settled in court under terms specified in the booking contract. Victoria also warned it would pursue legal steps unless a corrective statement is issued regarding the BBC report. Consumer advocate Adam Glazer called the situation disgusting, adding that customers were sold a dream, and it has turned into nothing short of a nightmare. Meanwhile, Meta, owner of Facebook and Instagram, where Victoria Cruise Line advertises, told the BBC it found no evidence of policy violations, despite multiple reports from affected customers. Royal Caribbean's brand new Star of the Seas has made a last-minute change to avoid the newly formed tropical storm Jerry. Instead of calling on Phillipsburg St. Martin, the newest Royal Caribbean cruise ship will turn its planned call to San Juan, Puerto Rico, into an overnight visit. Tropical Storm Jerry formed in the Atlantic Ocean yesterday and is expected to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane. The government has been shut down for a week, and air travel is already being impacted, with some sources reporting delays of up to 2.5 hours long, with some airports left without any air traffic controllers at all. That's exactly what happened at Hollywood Burbank Airport in California on Monday. A pilot had radioed for air traffic control, only to receive a message that the tower is closed due to staffing. The Department of Transportation's plan for the government shutdown counts over 13,000 air traffic controllers who are considered essential, but who will not be paid during the shutdown. 12 FAA facilities saw staffing shortages on Monday night, including Burbank, Phoenix and Denver, as well as Jacksonville, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Newark and others. According to FlightAware, which catalogs the world's commercial aviation delays and cancellations, the total number of delays on Monday was 5,976, though the nation's airports only reported 84 cancellations. The United States is reporting a moderate 560 delays this morning, and only 20 cancellations, though the full number is expected to increase as the day continues.
Are you planning on a trip to the land of the rising sun in the near future? Scoot Around, powered by Will, is excited to announce that we now have mobility scooters and electric wheelchairs available for rent in select locations across Japan, including major tourist destinations like Tokyo. You can book online today or call Scoot Around at 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 or call me at 434-258-9264 for a mobility scooter or power wheelchair in Japan.
All right, and that puts an end to the news portion of today's show. And I did make a mistake this morning, folks. Most of you know that Nestor is AI, but I have to tell him what to say. So I give him, I write the stories and then he just talks them. Well, I failed to tell him how to pronounce AIDA, which for some reason he does not pronounce right. So I'm still working on training on that, and I forgot to specify that when I put that story up earlier. Anyway, thank you, Nestor, for the news. All right, let's go see who's in the chat room fussing at me today. Jenny's with us from X. Hello, Jenny. Glad to have you with us. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. There's Hot Air Tom. Amy's with us. Joanne is here. Says hello from the car. Leaving the cardiologist office. All good. Well, that's good to know, Joanne. There's Gretchen. Hi, Gretchen. Kenneth says, hey, what's going on, Tom? You back home yet? They returned on Sunday, he says, Kenneth. There's Elizabeth on location. Greetings from a rainy St. Kitts. Yeah, you're going to be having the rain there for a couple days, it looks like, until the storm passes by completely. So I believe Kenneth is saying, so Tom, are you done with cruising until February? Sorry, I should say Tom. Tom, are you done with cruising until February? Nope, we go in Oceania Allure for 19 days, November, December. We'll have Thanksgiving on the ship. Elizabeth says, Jerry better not pay her a visit. Well, that's probably some of the rain that you're getting now. That's some of the outer bands of it. It strengthens. However, it is going to go off to the north, so I'm not sure. You're clearly not going to get a direct hit. So, Hot Air says, waiting for a response from Oceania on my status match, NCL Ambassador to Oceana President's Circle. Email was sent Monday the 29th. They must have a huge pile of work to do. There says, Eli, batten down the hatches and put a hand in your hair to keep it from blowing in your face. Yeah, I hear you. There's Todd. Good morning, Todd. Roger from Jacksonville. Hey, Roger. Elizabeth says, thanks, Tom. I think it will go to the east of us. However, one never knows. I'm in a very sturdy building, although oceanfront. Good to know. Oceana needs to hire Elizabeth. Oh, I know you're going to get a comment on that one. Oceana needs to hire Elizabeth to help process my status match. One of the listed perks is $1,250 onboard credit. I'm paranoid that someone is holding up the matches because the top brass didn't realize the match would be so expensive. I guess, Tom, that would be a nice onboard credit, that's for sure. Elizabeth says, no thanks, that was my least favorite ship. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Bob's with us, says, good morning, all. Have a great Wednesday. Roger says, can we bring a bottle of wine on board the MSC cruise? Yes, you can, as long as it's unopened. And then you have to pay a corkage fee. But you can bring a bottle of wine on board. There's Steve out in Kentucky. Hey, Chillie and everybody, having a relaxing time in Myrtle Beach for 2 weeks. Chillie, tell Steve about Mr. Fish Seafood. Okay, yeah, when we were in Myrtle Beach, Steve, I went to the aquarium while I was there, which was excellent. And we went to Mr. Fish Seafood, which is, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but Roger's niece and nephew have the restaurant there. And it's on, the main drag, kind of northish of town. It's just an excellent seafood restaurant. We had a wonderful meal there. They rolled out the red carpet for us. It was excellent. So you might want to look that one up, Steve, while you're there. Get a cab to it or whatever. Excellent seafood restaurant. Eli says, hey, Chillie, see if Nestor can pronounce Civitavecchia. I think I pretty much have him set on Civitavecchia. Todd says, sound and video is perfect today. Amazing. Looks like the sun is making an appearance. Now you can go work on your tan. There's Katie popping in to say hi. Katie got her car back finally after a rather expensive repair. I know what mine's going to be, Katie. I got a $1,000 deductible. So when I pick it up, I got to give them $1,000. Thankfully, that limits it. They got to cover the rest. But I got to cough up $1,000. So Katie wasn't in a wreck. She had mechanical issues. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, folks, smash that thumbs up button. That'll help me out a lot. We've had a nice run on new subscribers. We're over 7,100 now. Moving right along, so appreciate that. Take this as my invitation to join us. Just remember to hit that bell notification. You'll be notified when I go live or when a new video is up, and I do a lot of both. Anyway, they'll let you know on that. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. Thanks for being here. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising or traveling. Doesn't have to be cruising. But one day soon, hopefully, we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe out there, especially Eli. Stay safe, darling. Talk to everybody soon. You guys have a great day. I'll see everybody back here on Friday on the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.